Hello, Abundant Life Church. Happy Tuesday. Glad I get to be with you guys today and bring you a quick devotional. I wanted to talk with you guys. I've been in my Bible reading. I've been in the book of Job. And the book of Job is an interesting book. It's considered one of the books of poetry. So a lot of it is these very colorful speeches by people. They use a lot of big words and a lot of descriptive things, and they're kind of having these philosophical arguments surrounding Job's predicament that he finds himself in. And to give you the basis of the story, it's Job was a man who loved God. It says he was blameless in God's eyes. He did everything well. He was a very wealthy man. He had lots of animals, lots of possessions, lots of property, which is how they, in Job's day, which is how they counted wealth. And he had family and all of this stuff. Anyway, the devil pretty much goes to God, and God says, have you seen my servant Job and how well he obeys me? And the devil's like, well, listen, he does that because, you've blessed him so much. If you were to remove your hand of blessing from him, he would curse you, and he would, And so God allows the devil to push him to a certain point. The first time he says you can take away all of his possessions, and so his family dies in a storm. All of his animals are stolen or slaughtered and killed. And next, he still doesn't curse God. He still doesn't do any of those things. And then the next time God says you're allowed to take his health, but you're not allowed to take his life. And so now, when his friends come to see him, Job has boils all over his body. He is scraping his skin with a broken piece of pottery. I mean, it's a depressing sight and a depressing story. And it looks like this man who's fallen from grace, and you can hear as he has these conversations with his friends, as he's wrestling with all of the guilt, not necessarily guilt, but all of the pain that he's in, both physically and the loss of his family and all of his things, and all of this stuff, as he's wrestling with this and trying to figure out why this is happening to him and professing his innocence. And his friends are saying, you must have sinned, you can't know. And it goes on and on for a long time. And a lot of people who have talked about the book of Job have said, with friends like that, you don't really need anybody else in your life because they're going to make you feel bad enough as it is. They're not really the best friends. And there's a few things I love about the book of Job. And one of them is that at the end, which I'm not to my Bible reading it this year, but at the end of the story, actually, it says there's a young man who's been standing there listening, and the young man waits for all the older men to speak, and then he speaks up, and he's the one who's actually right as he talks and as he dialogues, and then God shows up in a whirlwind and speaks from the whirlwind and speaks with Job and corrects him on some things. But Job he's still throughout the entire story, he never curses God. He never loses his faith in God. He may question why something bad is happening to him, but he never loses his faith or wants to curse God or turn his back on God or anything like that. And I think it's an important story. It's fitting for the world we find ourselves in today, where everything is stressful, everything is difficult. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of apprehension. There's a lot of fear. And in our lives, when things go wrong, especially in America, where we've had it so comfortable for so long, we have a tendency to, at times, blame God, to say, God, why are you allowing this to happen? Why are you doing this? What is the reason, God? Why would you allow this to happen to me? And if we're not careful, it can really turn into a woe is me, oh poor me attitude. And that's really not how, as believers, we are supposed to behave. We're supposed to trust God that he knows what's best, even if it doesn't seem like it to us. That's why Isaiah says, as the mountains are above the sea, so are your ways higher than my ways, and your thoughts higher than my thoughts. Meaning, God, I can't even begin to understand how much smarter than me you are. God, I can't even begin to fathom the immenseness of your intellect and of your and all of those things. If you're somebody who's into science or anything like that, and you understand all of the atoms and the molecules and all of these different things, and there's a show I watch where the people on it are scientists, and they're always having these things, and it's really lofty. Like, I understand none of it, but if you think about all of those kinds of things, understand this: God created it all. He's the mind who came up with it. He has all the answers, all of the scientific discoveries that men make, God already knew, and God already did. And that's who he is. And so we have to be able to trust him with everything around us and saying, God, I know you know best. I know you know best. I know that you, God, that you're working for in my best interest, in what is best for me. And we also have to learn then that what is best for us is not always what we think is best for us. That God, again, is infinitely smarter than we are. So whatever we think may be best for us may not be. And when we realize that he is a loving Father, we have to realize that he won't just give us things that we want or things that we think we need simply because we want it. So anyway, I hope that you find that encouraging this morning. I hope that you think through that even in the midst of a difficult time, in the midst of difficulty, that you may feel like Job, like, why is all of this happening to me? That I want you to understand there is still a God in heaven who loves you, who cares for you, who is there for you, and who wants what is absolutely best for you. So I hope you were encouraged by this morning, and I will see you guys all Wednesday night or Sunday morning. All right, bye.